Hey, what's up, everybody? It's TheHyphenate here, and today I'm going to show you guys how to set up and record a podcast using the Zoom H6. This audio recorder is super awesome because it's portable, affordable, and very easy to use for 2, 3, 4-person podcasts. So let's get to it. Now, in order to record high-quality audio with the Zoom H6, you're going to want to use microphones that use an XLR cable. The Zoom H6 has 4 different inputs for XLRs. So once you have your microphones, go ahead and connect the cables and connect them into the Zoom H6. Now, in order to actually see the audio levels as you're making adjustments, you actually have to activate that track. So let's say, for example, input 3 right here. If I click on the 3, there's a little red light right there, and then that shows you that it's activated. So that way, now I can make adjustments, and then you'll be able to see my levels moving around. But if it's not activated, I could be talking right in front of the microphone and no signals coming in. So make sure you activate your tracks. Now, if you're using dynamic microphones, they do not require any external power. However, if you're using condenser mics, they do require phantom power. And I'll show you how to turn that on in a bit. So now let's say you have all your microphones connected into the Zoom H6. Here on the Zoom H6, you have volume gain knobs, so you can actually change the input signal strength. So you can go all the way from 0, which would pretty much be mute, or all the way to 10. Before you start recording your podcast, you're going to want to make sure that you test each person on each signal and adjust the gain knob to their voice. So some people speak very loudly, some people speak very low. You have to make adjustments according to the person. And you're also going to want to make sure that as you're testing, you have them speak a little bit more loudly with a little bit more excitement, because throughout podcasts, sometimes people get a little bit more animated, and when they do, their volume goes up. So you want to make sure that as you adjust it, you account for that. You want to make sure that you leave room so that way if they speak a little bit more loudly, it does not peak on the levels. If it peaks, that's causing distortion. So test them, make sure that they are not peaking when they get a little bit more loud. Now with the Zoom H6, you'll see that every input has its own channel, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that means that each individual input is being recorded separately into mono tracks. Now what that means is when you finish recording your podcast and you go and edit in a computer, you're gonna have to sync the separate tracks so that they have the same starting point, and so everything is in line. And each person's audio is gonna be on a separate track. Now, aside from being able to record in 4 individual mono tracks, you could record in 2 stereo tracks. You can do that by pairing tracks 1 and 2 together, by clicking on both of them at the same time, and then now you'll see 1/2. Now that means both of those tracks are coming in, and you can do the same with 3 and 4. Click both twice, and now you see 3 and 4 coming together. Now, as you can see there, track 3 is on the left and track 4 is on the right. So now you have a stereo file. Now that means when you're finished recording your podcast in this mode, you're gonna have to actually go in and separate the 2 signals, the left and the right, to be on separate individual tracks, and then make sure that they both output to both speakers. If not, you're gonna have one person speaking on one speaker and then one person speaking on another. Now, personally, I actually prefer to record everything in mono separate tracks, which is 1, 2, 3, and 4 being separated. Now let me show you the settings that I use. Click on the menu button on the side. Then from here, go down to the microphone, click on that. Now, when it comes to podcasting, I always use a compressor. So click on that, and then you can choose which tracks you want to activate compressors. Personally, I leave all the tracks with compressors. So here you'll see track 3. If I click on that, you have various compressors that you can use. I always use Comp 2 Vocal. Now, a compressor is going to make a really big difference in helping to regulate some of the sound. As we speak, sometimes we speak a little lower in volume in certain words, and in other words, we get a little bit louder. A compressor will help to equalize some of that volume difference. All right, let's press menu to go back. And then now, let me show you the phantom power if you're using a condenser microphone. Go ahead and select that, and then you can turn on or off, and then you can also choose the voltage depending on the microphone. Most microphones use 48 volt phantom power. I personally prefer to use dynamic microphones, so I always make sure to have phantom power off. Now let's go back. Now, personally, I don't recommend using a low cut filter. Sometimes I think it cuts a little too much, and it's better to actually use an EQ in post and actually choose how much you want to cut out if you so choose to. Okay, now let's go into the recording menu. and then go ahead and go to recording format. Now here you can choose what type of format you prefer. If you want the highest quality, you would go with WAV, and you can go to 96 kilohertz 24-bit, but the standard for video is 48 kilohertz 24-bit. Now you could also go MP3 if you want much smaller files, but you are sacrificing some quality. Personally, I think 48 24-bit is more than enough. Okay, let's back out of that. And really, that's how simple it is. Just go ahead and press record, and now your podcast is being recorded. Now, if you're interested in knowing how to actually edit a podcast, I do have a video coming soon where I'll break down that process. And there you guys have it. That's how you set up and record a podcast using the Zoom H6. If you guys are interested in getting the Zoom H6, I do have a link in the description where you can purchase it from either B&H Photo or Amazon. It doesn't change the price that you get it at, but it does help this channel. Please make sure to drop a like on this video, drop a comment below if you have any questions, and please make sure to subscribe. I have a lot more videos coming soon. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.